Yo, what's good on today's video? I got part two of how to grow a garden and stuff. As you guys remember in part one, we set up the UI as well as the actual garden and everything. So I added some new stuff. We're gonna add a shovel teleport system so you can teleport between, the seeds, so the shop, the cell, and your garden. Um, Added a shop system so you can buy seeds, and then also added an inventory system to store them. Part three will cover the cell system, which to get to the cell system, we have to first get to the plant system so that you can plant seeds, which then means we also have to cover the grow system. So we kind of have, that's why I decided to break it up and just focus mainly on like just buying stuff. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get straight into the video. Okay, so as you guys know, in Grow a Garden, there's a shovel where you walk up to the what's it called? You walk up to the seeds, or it's more so like the plants when they finish growing, you can destroy them and stuff. So let's go ahead and make the shovel. It's a simple tool and stuff. So I'm just gonna make a basic one, right? Um, as always, if you guys want access to any one of my scripts or models, just look in the description. Just read the description. But anyway, so go to workspace, plus icon, insert a tool, or just type the word tool if you don't see it, right? You're gonna want to rename this tool to shovel, right? Then you're going to want to insert a part into the shovel. We'll make this the blade. So like the bottom part of the shovel. So we'll call this the blade. I will scale this to be like this. Bam. Bam. I want to say that's good. Then I'm going to make it dark gray. Make it a dark metallic gray. Right? That's our blade. Right? Then I'm going to insert a cylinder, right? Then I'm going to scale this so that it's a lot skinnier. Do it like that. Bring this at the top, right? This is going to be our, you could just call this the middle, because it's just really the middle part, right? It's going to be the middle. So the way you want this is, let's move this up into the air. You're going to want to rotate this. So let's just flip the orientation. So let's do... This is for the shovel, by the way, so that's the wrong thing. 90, that's the wrong thing. Let me just reset this altogether. It might be easy, honestly. Yeah, okay, there we go. There we go. So we need it upright. Then we want to move this upward, right? And then you want to just kind of just get it close enough. Position it to where you want it to be. So right there, and then just get it nice and close. And there you go. There we go. So just like that. Okay. So then we have our middle piece, right? And then you want to drag this into the shovel as well. And then you can really duplicate the middle piece. So select it, duplicate. You want to simply just move it downward just a little bit. This is going to be our handle. So you want to make this color a nice dark gray, right? And then you want to rename this to handle. This is very important. This has to be named handle, as this is where the player will hold on to it. So then you're just going to scale it down so it's like that. That'll be our handle. Then for the middle, I'm just going to change it so it's wood. So I'm going to change the brown and just make the material wood. And just like that, we have ourselves a shovel. Last things, we need to weld the pieces together and stuff. Or also, hold on. So select everything. So you can right click, then click select children, or select one, then hold the control key bind, and then just left click all of them. You need to make sure that the parts are not anchored, and also make sure can collide is not turned on, right? What you need to do is weld them together. So simply insert a weld constraint into the parts. Make sure you weld each part to where like it makes sense. Don't weld the blade to the handle, because you see how like they're far apart. You want to weld the blade, right? So part 0 will weld the blade to the middle, right? Then for the handle, we will use a weld constraint. We will weld the handle to the middle part, right? Boom, nice and simple. We have our shovel. You can go ahead and put that inside of starter pack since the player spawns in with that. We have completed our shovel. Now, one thing I added to the garden system is teleporters. You guys, I mentioned the teleport system and stuff, right? Which means we need to have a part that like we teleport the player to so that they spawn in front of their garden. So inside of each garden, you're just gonna want to insert a part, right? And then you're just gonna want to put this part like in front of your garden. It's up to you, right? You just want to name the part teleporter. Make sure this part is inside of the garden, of each garden and stuff, right? So you could just name it teleporter, right? They all need to have the same name, by the way. So just do teleporter. right? Something like that. You want it to be transparent. You want it to be anchored and disable can collide, right? So there is our teleporter. Then just duplicate it and then just put it inside of your other garden and stuff. You need this for all your gardens, and then obviously make sure you move it over and stuff. Since this is for the second garden, and then boom, right? Just like that, we finished our teleporters. Then now we need our NPCs for our to buy and sell. So click avatar at the top, then rig builder, block avatar. Again, these are just the default rigs and stuff. You guys can go to the toolbox to get your own NPC models or make your own and stuff. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. So I'm just gonna rotate it and stuff by selecting it and holding R. Then you're gonna want to rename one of them to buy. This is where you'll come to buy stuff, right? And then you can make the whole stand and everything, like where the NPC stands behind it and everything, and build a stand. I'm not gonna do that and stuff. That's the whole point of this, is to show you the scripting, really the scripting, not really the design and stuff. So yeah, you guys can make that. So we're gonna make the buy NPC. You're simply gonna want to insert a proximity prompt into the buy NPC, right? And then you can adjust certain things. The hold duration depend. This makes it that like they have to hold down the keybind and stuff to open up the menu and stuff. So you could set that time to whatever you want it to be, and then you could change the key code if you want and stuff. I'm gonna change the text to talk, right? And then you're simply just going to duplicate this, duplicate the buy NPC, just move them over, and then this would be your sell NPC. So sell. Boom. That's all you got to do for the NPCs, right? Now we're going to move on to our seed folder. So head on over to server storage, plus icon, insert a folder. You're going to want to name this folder seeds folder. You're going to keep track of all the seeds here. So like if let's say for your game you want to have 10 different seeds, you're going to need to put the information for the seeds in here. So these are going to be number values. So plus icon, number value. The name is going to be whatever the name of the seed is, right? Now don't put carrot, for example. You need to put carrot plus seed plus the word. So like it has to have the word seed at the end, with space and everything. Then the value is going to be the price. That's going to be whatever the price is for said seed. So I'm going to say 10. I'm going based off of the price in the actual game. Then I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to rename this to strawberry seed, and I'm going to set the price to 50, right? So whenever you want to add a new seed into your game, you just simply go here, insert a number value, name it. Its name would be whatever the name of the seed is, and then the value would be whatever the price is for the seed, right? This is our seeds folder inside of server storage, right? And these are number values and stuff, right? So just go in and add them and stuff, when you want to and everything. So yeah, okay, we're done with that. Now let's move on to the UI changes. Let me just double check. Okay, we are good. So head on over to Core GUI, open that up, right? So what we need to do is we need to insert a new frame. So plus icon frame. Let's go ahead and do the shop frame first. So let's go ahead and rename this frame to shop frame. I'm going to drag this to the middle of the screen, right? As for the sizing, I think I'm gonna do 300 by 250. I think that's what I'm going to do. 250, yeah, something like that. Or I might actually do 270 and then just drag this up. Yeah, so something like that, right? So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a UI corner into it, so that give it round, make the Y value 20. I'm going to make the background color brown, just the closest brown I have. Might make it a little darker. Yeah, something like that. And then I'm also going to insert a UI stroke into it to give it a nice color. Again, customization is up to you guys. It's really just the names and stuff. That's what's really just important. So then I'm just going to give this, I think it's like a darker color. Yeah, but just like a darker color. Make it a little thick. And yeah. So then I'm going to go ahead and insert a text button into the shop frame. This is going to be our close text button. This is how you're going to be able to close the shop. So I'm going to set the background transparency to 1, right? We're going to do bold text, rich text, scale the text, set the text to an X, capital X. Text color will be white. Text stroke color will be red. And then text stroke transparency will be set to 0. And then you could just do the size. You could just set the size to like 50 by 50. and then you can just simply drag this over to the top right of your screen. There we go. There will be our close text button. Then we can go ahead and insert a scrolling frame into our shop frame. So a scrolling frame, this is where your seeds are going to be. So you can put it like right here under the close button, and then we can size it. You can size it out. So like maybe 200 to, let's try 220. 230 might be stretching it. Okay, no, that should be good. Yeah, that should be good. And then we could do the Y by like 200. Okay, that's 20. 200, yeah, 200 should be good. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to set the background transparency for the scrolling frame, set that equal to 1. Probably best to make the scrolling bar image color something maybe a little. No, I think, well, black might work. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's really up to y'all and stuff. Maybe green. I don't know. It's up to y'all. Um, but yeah, so then what you're going to do is you're going to want to rename this scrolling frame to seeds frame. This is where you're going to sell your seeds. Pause on that, but you're going to want to insert a UI grid layout into it, right? And then this UI grid layout, then you're going to want to insert a text button, right? You're going to want to name this text button to seed text button, right? Now let me go to the UI grid layout. This controls the sizing and stuff. So let's do this. Let's adjust the size a little bit. So let's do like 40 or no, like 50. So I think 120. I think like, or no, I think like 140. Yeah, like 140 by 50 should be good. So this is our seed text button, right? And this will control the sizing for it. So you just want to go and just do some customization. So I'm gonna set the background color to black. I'm gonna make the background transparency to 0.5, so a nice faded black, right? This is our text button, bold, rich text, scale text, set the text equal to the name of your seeds. Again, it's very important. So I'm gonna put carrot seed, very important. The text need to match the name, right? So inside the seeds folder, you see how it says carrot seed. I'm gonna put carrot seed, right? And then I'm gonna change the text color to white so we can actually see this. Text stroke transparency will be set to 0, and text stroke color will be black, right? So we have carrot seed, right? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a text label into the seed text button, and then this is going to be called our price text label. This is going to display the price. So price text label, right? You can really make this 50, the size can be 50 by 50, so just throw in 50. Then you could just drag this to the right of it, right? And then you're going to want a bold text, rich text, scale text. You're going to put the price here, so I'm just going to say 10. Then obviously, you'd want, you just look at the values inside of the seeds folder to see, the prices for them, right? So then I would set background transparency for this, for the price text label to 1. I would make it the text color green, and then I would make the text stroke transparency set that equal to 0. Text stroke color will be black. And then yeah, just like that, we're done with that. And then you would just go here, you would just simply select, like let's say you want to add a new seed to your shop system, you would just click duplicate, and then boom, it automatically move down for you. And then you can scroll up and down. So then for the second one, you would just simply, of course, change the text. So as you can see, the buttons are all going to be named the same. What's important is the text. The text will contain the name. So strawberry seed. So this is very important, right? So we'll say strawberry seed, and then you'll update the price. So this is 50. So bam, right? Just like that, we are done with and yeah, just like that, we are done with the shop system and stuff. So we're good there. Let's go ahead and set that, of course, not equal, not you. Set it not visible. You do not want it to be visible. Then we can move on to the cell frame. Okay, so insert another frame into the core GUI. You're gonna want this to be kind of like in the bottom rightish kind of, right? You're gonna want this to be like I don't even know. I don't even know where to go with this. Like maybe 300 by 300, possibly. So like kind of be like the bottom right, like down here. Maybe 300 by 280. That might actually be too tall now that I think about it. So maybe like 240. So like yeah, something like this possibly. So what you're going to do is you're going to set the background transparency equal to 1, rename this frame to cell frame. So cell frame. So you're going to want to insert a text button, right? Our first button will be our inventory. So you'll name this cell inventory text button, right? I'm going to set the text equal to the same text in the actual game. So bold text, rich text, scale text, and then we're just going to sit here and we're going to say number 1, regular bracket, quotation marks. I want to sell my inventory. Bam, bam. And you guys don't have to do this. This is just, this is what they did in the actual one. And then obviously I'm gonna make the text button, I'm gonna make it a little longer since it needs to, we want it all to be like on one line. So 280, okay. 300? Dang. Okay. So we're then going to set the background transparency to 1. Text color will be white, text stroke transparency will be black, and text stroke color will be black, text stroke transparency will be set to 0, right? So this would be I want to sell my inventory, right? Then you're going to simply duplicate this, drag it right underneath it, right? Then you'll have your second button. So for this would be number 2. So we'll say number 2. Bam, bam. I want to sell this. Again, you don't have to do it exactly like the actual game did it. You can put whatever you want for the text. I'm just simply copying what they did. Then this is to sell an individual item. So you'll just call this sell text button. Then again, duplicate it, drag it underneath it, right? And then you'll want to name this what's it called? Wait, where is it? Oh, right there. The name. So for this one, so be worth text button. So when you want to know the worth, the value of whatever, plant you have. So let's go to the text. Let's do number 3, right? And I'm going to say, how much is this worth? Bam. Then you'll duplicate it for one last time, drag it underneath. Then this will be number 4. And this will simply be number 4. And then this will just be never mind and stuff, which is essentially, this is just your close button. So you'll just go up here, you'll just rename this to close text button, right? And then, yeah, just like that, we're done. I will say probably for the best that we make them smaller, probably for the best. Yeah, probably best that we decrease the Y value for them. So like maybe like 40 or like 30. Yes, yeah, something like that. And then if they're like too spaced out, all you gotta do is, just move them over. But like but the problem is if like they overlap stuff, you don't want them to overlap because then, it'll trigger stuff. Okay. So there we go. And then yeah. All right. Then once you're done with the cell frame, make sure it's not visible, right? Boom, we are done with the UI. Now we can get to the coding. All right, last part. Okay, so you're gonna want to head on over to starter player, insert a local script into starter player scripts. Then you're gonna want to rename this to core script, in parentheses, put local. Delete print hello world. We're going to create 3 variables. First, create a variable for our player. Was equal to game.players.local player. Then create a variable for the core GUI. So core GUI is equal to player.player GUI wait for child core GUI. Then create a variable for our core remote event. So core event is equal to game.replicated storage wait for child. Now we need to create our remote event. Head on over to, we can close this by the way. Head on over to replicated storage, plus icon, remote event, rename this remote event to core event, then come back here and then just inside the quotation marks or between them, put core event, boom, we have our first 3 variables ready. Now let's go ahead and set up the teleport system. So as you guys remember with our teleport frame that we set up in the first part of the series, we're going to say for I, v in pairs. You're going to say core GUI dot teleport frame get children enter. You're going to say if v is a text button, we need to confirm first, enter, then v dot activated to account for both mobile and PC players. Connect function, close parentheses, enter. You're going to say if v.name is equal to seeds text button. This means you want to get teleported over to the seeds spawn. So enter. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to have it for the seeds in cell. I'm going to have it so that it simply just teleports them to like in front of them, but not having a teleporter. You could do a teleporter system just like this where you have an actual teleporter, or you could just do it to where you just teleport it. Like you just use the C frame coordinates of like their humanoid root part or something. I'm just gonna say their primary part, but you could use their humanoid root part C frame and stuff and just teleport them in front of them. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna say player dot character pivot to, and then you are going to say workspace dot by dot primary part. Remember that that's our NPC. So then C frame primary part, which is typically a character's humanoid root part. Then you're gonna say times C frame dot new -1 comma -1 comma -10. This is so that it spawns them in front of them. Then you're gonna say else if v.name is equal to, then you're just gonna do the same thing for the cell system. So cell text button enter. Then you can just really copy and paste this. Control C, Control V. All you're gonna do is just change this to cell. Boom, and then you just want to do it one more time. You're going to say else if v.name is equal to garden text button enter, right? Then for this is going to be a little different. You're going to want to search all of the gardens in the workspace and then find which garden belongs to the player. So you'll say for I, oh well, I guess that would be a second for element, so that'd be nested. Let's do for j comma f, or um, let's see. How do I want this to work? Let's just do j comma f. In pairs, we'll say workspace get children enter, right? We're gonna say if v find first child, similar to what we did on the server script. So v find first child owner. So if there's pretty much first we gotta confirm that it is a garden and stuff, right? And v dot owner dot value is equal to player dot name, because if it's equal to the player's name, then that means they own that garden. So enter, then create a variable for the specific garden. Garden is equal to v. Then you'll simply just say player dot character pivot to garden. This is why I said you need to just name all of their spawns to just teleporter, or you call it spawn. So teleporter dot C frame, bam, right? So that specific garden's teleporter, right? And then okay, we're good. And then we are done with that first gigantic function. Then let's go ahead and set up the cell and buy stuff. So let's create variables for the NPCs. So cell NPC is equal to workspace wait for child cell. Do the same thing for the buy NPC. Buy NPC is equal to workspace wait for child buy, right? Then I'm going to say cell NPC dot proximity prompt dot triggered connect function in parentheses. I'm sorry, close parentheses. Enter. And then you're going to say core GUI dot cell frame dot visible is equal to true, right? Then you're just going to do the same thing we just did. You can really just copy and paste this. So select it, copy, space, then just paste it. Then you're just going to do buy NPC and then just change this to shop. Bam. Right? Then you're done with that. So that will pretty much make it so that when they talk to the NPCs, they'll be able to get, or the UI will be open for them. Then you'll say core GUI dot shop frame dot close text button dot activated connect function close parentheses enter. You will then say core GUI dot shop frame dot visible is equal to false and stuff, so that the player can close the shop frame. Then we will use a for I loop. We will say for I comma v. In pairs, you will say core GUI dot shop frame dot seeds frame get children. So this is for when a player is trying to purchase seeds. So enter, you will say if v is a text button, enter v dot activated connect function close parentheses enter. You will then fire the remote event core event core event fire server in quotation mark put by comma v dot text, because we need to send over the name of whatever the seed is. Then we can go ahead and save ourselves some time. You can go ahead and just really copy and paste this. So select it, copy, and then just go after it, and then just paste it. And then obviously this go around, you're just going to change the shop frame to cell frame, then delete the seed frames part. Right? The same concept applies, except since this is for the cell system, we're going to need to use if statement. So we'll say if v.name. We're just going to set up the close function. We're just going to say close text button. enter, then core GUI dot cell frame dot visible is equal to false and stuff, right? Obviously, we need to set up functionality for cell inventory worth and close text, or sorry, cell individual item, cell inventory or worth and stuff. We have to set that up, but that's gonna be in part 3. The video is already gonna be like 30 minutes long and stuff, so I was just gonna split it up into another video. I didn't want this to be like a 40-50 minute long part. So yeah, just like that, we are done with the local script. Let's move on to the server side now. So going back to our server script, inside the server script service, right? We're going to want to, of course, create a variable at the top for the remote event. So local core event is equal to, okay, game that replicated storage away for child core event. Then you're going to go after the shekels value. We're going to create a new value because I also made an inventory system. So you're going to want to copy the leader stats code. So just copy, paste, and then just name this. You just want to call this inventory, right? Then just select it, Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V. This would be a new folder parented to the player. This will keep track of all the player's current seeds as well as the plants and stuff. Like once they grow and everything. And once we set all that stuff up in the future. As if we're not setting that up as of yet. Then we're done there. You're going to go after that. You're going to create a variable for the seeds folder inside of server storage. So seeds folder is equal to game.server storage await for child seeds folder. Then you're going to say core event.onServer events connect function in parentheses put PLR, which is short for the player. Then event type, comma arg1, which is short for argument number 1. Enter. You will then say if event type is equal to in quotation marks by. Enter. Then you will create a variable for the seed name because it would have been sent over. So the seed name. We will then say if player.leaderstats dot shekels, which remember is the game's currency, dot value is greater than or equal to seeds folder. Remember our seeds folder, regular bracket seed name. So we're just gonna go inside of the seed folder and then just see if we can find the name of said seed. Then you're gonna say dot value. Remember that's the price. So if it's greater than or equal to that, then that means the player can buy it. So then you'll just say player dot leader stats dot shekels dot value is less than or equal to seeds folder seed name dot value, right? So you'll subtract it, and then you'll say if player dot inventory find first child seed name. So the reason we need to check for this enter is so that in the inventory system, like when I say inventory, I'm talking about like our folder we made, not the not like the player's like default inventory, like with tools and stuff, right? Let's say you already have one of the seeds, then we're not adding a new value. We're just simply incrementing that value and stuff, right? If you already have a strawberry seed, then we're just adding +1. We're not gonna add another seed kind of thing. Like obviously for the tools we are, but not for the actual inventory and stuff, not the players in front. I'm talking about the this inventory and stuff. We're just gonna store values. So we will say if we do find it, then all we're gonna simply say is player.inventory seed name dot value is plus or equal 1. Then we will throw an else if. We will say else if not player.inventory find first child seed name. So if they don't find it, enter. Then that means we got to create the value, right? So then we will say local seed is equal to instance.new. It's going to be a number value, so we can keep track of how much there is. So number value seed dot name is equal to, of course, the seed name. Then seed dot value by default should be set to 1 because they now have 1. Then seed dot parent. Remember, it should be set to the player's inventory. Then you're going to go after that end, and then you're going to create the seed tool so that they can plant. But again, we're not setting up the planting system as of yet. That'll be either in part 3 or part 4. So then we'll create a variable for our seed tool. We'll go ahead and create that. So it's equal to instance.new tool, right? Then we will say seed tool that requires handle. Make sure you set this to false because it's not going to be an actual thing we're going to hold. And then it'll say seed tool that name is that name is equal to seed name seed tool dot parent is equal to player dot backpack and yeah, So that's the plant. Oh, I just realized I have to do a weight system, but that's for the actual when it grows, not for the seeds. Well, anyway, so yeah, so that's it. Let's go ahead and test to make sure it works. If you guys are interested in any one of my scripts or models, you guys can just check out the description and find out more about how you can gain access to them. Okay, so if we equip the shovel, you'll notice that it's probably not facing the right direction. All you gotta do to fix that, go to workspace, find your character, find the tool, go to grip, find grip, and then orientation. You're just going to want to play around with this stuff until it's facing the right direction. So X obviously isn't what we're looking for. Let's try Y. Y is not what we're looking for. So let's try Z. So boom. Okay, that's the opposite direction. So let's do the opposite of that, -90. Now it's upward. Perfect. Then you're just going to grab the orientation, copy that, stop playing, go find the tool inside of Starter Pack, find grip, go to orientation, paste that. Oh, wait, that's, wait, what did it just do that? Wait, it's supposed to, I'm very confused. It's supposed to, bro, what? Oh, well, okay, so apparently it didn't save it. Well, the point was, it said, yeah, so you just go back and then just do it again. But the point was, it was negative, it was 0, it was 0 by -90, I believe. And then once your tool is upward, there you go. You're good to go, right? And now we have our shovel. Obviously, we don't have it. We can't test like actually like it destroying stuff because we haven't made that as we haven't even made a planting system yet. All right. So let's test teleports. So seeds, cell, as you can see we're in front of the NPCs. Garden, um, garden is not working. Okay, that's very interesting. For some reason, garden is not working. What's the problem with garden? Let's go up here. Oh, I see the problem. My bad, guys. My bad. I forgot since we're using J and F, I put V. I put V instead of F. My bad. So just go here, literally just change all the V's. Okay, just to clarify. For this, dear God, I did not mean to do that. Did not mean to do that. Okay. So just change for this, just the stuff, right? So change the V's here to F's. I just want to clarify that, right? Just change, yeah. Don't go changing these V's. Don't go changing that. Just down here. So F. Okay, there we go. Okay, now it should work. There we go. Okay. So seeds, garden, boom. All our teleports work. Perfect. Let's test the buy system. So if I talk, you'll see the shop pops up. I currently by default have 100 shekels. So if I can buy a carrot seed, boom, it goes straight into my Roblox inventory so I can go and plant it. We don't have the planting system yet. If I open up my inventory, you'll also see I have a carrot seed. If I buy another one, boom, it'll now say 2, and I also have it inside of my, I also have 2 carrot seed tools, and then also we can buy a strawberry seed, and apparently that is not available, which means I probably spelled it wrong. That's what that means. Then just to test the cell system, which there we go and stuff. Obviously the only thing that works is the nevermind button. So boom, there we go. So yeah. Yeah, I see what I did. I spelled it wrong. Yeah, this is why I said it's important that you make sure you spell them correctly. So strawberry seed. There we go. Okay, now if I try to go to purchase the seeds, yeah, there we go. I can buy strawberry seeds, and I can't buy anymore because I'm out of shekels. So yeah, there you go. That would be part 2 of how to make grow a garden. Like I said, if you guys are interested in any one of my scripts or models, you guys become either a channel member or a Discord subscriber. Link to either one of those options can be found in the description. Just check out the description. You'll find out how to gain access to stuff. If you guys are enjoying this series, definitely leave a like and subscribe. Just let me know if you guys are enjoying it and you want, just show the video lots of love and support. And I got y'all with a part 3 and stuff. Just, continue showing the series lots of love and support. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you all for watching.